That was my plan. Was disappear into the woods. Never mind that anytime I had gone on extensively long camping trips, those were livable because my parents did everything. I didn't actually really know that much. I mean, I knew, like, probably more than a lot of kids, but we're also talking like you do it in a park where there's rangers and stuff. Like, there's safety nets, where there's showers, and there's toilets with running water, if you're willing to walk, which I always am. Actually, these days I drive. Fuck off. Middle of the night, headlights on, wake everybody else up in their tents. I'm fucking driving to the nearest flush bathroom. Kiss my ass. Oh my gosh, Dane, that's so selfish. It is, but like, I'm not the only one. Come on. I'm not, I can't use outhouses, man. I've done it. I don't like it. I have the hardest time getting my bladder to just like cooperate. Because all I can think of is just that vault full of fucking poop. And what might be living down there. And what might be like right, you know, on the lid of the vault. Like not where your asshole is looking down like a brown eye examining the contents. But like, what is in there? There's stuff in there. And motherfuckers will leave the front door to an outhouse open and just walk off into the sunset like Hannibal fucking Lecter. So that when you go to use it, you don't know what's wandered in there. You don't know if there's like a big giant ass spider that was released from a secret facility that climbed in there. Or a raccoon. You know, you don't know what's in there, but I fucking guarantee you there's something in there. And it's just waiting for you to put your big, fleshy, juicy ass right there where it just goes, hey man. Right? Or like, what if the toilet, like the actual pedestal that you're on, fucking decides to break? Like, you ever sat on those? Whether they're made of wood or plastic? Like, it's not fucking like primo style construction butt capture architecture here, man. That stuff could break at any moment. And then what? And then what? If there's those bars, then you're just gonna land probably with one of those corrugated metal bars right between your ass crack, like right up against the hole, man. That's gonna fucking happen to you. And you ever look at those bars? There's always toilet paper on them, like really rotten toilet. Like, it's not even paper anymore, man. It's just like a medium for evil to grow in. And you're gonna fucking land on that, and all that squooge is gonna get you right in the crack, right? Like right in the taint. It's just gonna get you right there, and then you're gonna settle back on it, just all up your asshole. And you're just gonna have all that spooge, nasty stuff. Some of this probably is spooge, you know, all that nasty stuff. And then on either butt cheek, there, I just slapped mine, on either side, like fucking saddlebags, is gonna be the other two corrugated metal bars with all of their nasty shit on it. Now they have the least amount of nasty shit because they're not right in the center, right? But they got enough, man. So you're gonna have this like 3-bar fucking streak right up the butt crack and across each apex of each butt cheek. That's if there's bars. If there's no bars, your ass might be headed all the way in. And then you're stuck, right? Like, your ass is just like there, and then the suction happens, and you're just sitting there with your legs kicking. You know, like hip deep in that fucking thing, and you can't get out, and there's no way to save yourself, and you're just calling for help me please, I fell into the outhouse, help me please. And then it stinks so bad, but like, then what if gas starts accumulating, right? Like, you know, like, you formed enough of a suction that you can't get out. So now all the gas that's fucking cooking up and being, I shouldn't have done that, are being released in the fucking vault full of shit and all that other stuff, all that nice volatile shit that was previously venting up out of the pedestal toilet that you fucking broke, is now just fucking collecting and collecting and collecting. So what happens if all of a sudden it's too much? Right? It's too much, and then the walls of the vault start to be like groaning, and you're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then because like you're the weakest part of this sealed system of expanding gases, the only way you get out of that outhouse is that the gas gets so compressed that it goes, and it just kicks you the fuck out. So you hit the ceiling of the outhouse and just blow right through the top like a fucking rocket, and your ass crack still has all that nasty shit trailing out of it. So it's all like down your legs and stuff. So it kind of looks like you have like a fucking magpie tail, and it's just fucking poop. And I mean, I hate outhouses, man. They fucking suck. Don't use outhouses. Like, what if that happens? Alright, I need to build something for my... Oh, I hit the wrong thing. Need to build my rain catcher for turtles. I don't think I've built one yet. So I actually do need this. I'm not sure I know how. Let's see here. We need water. Nice, clean water. Yeah. And then I'll just keep getting turtles, I guess. I don't think they steal my water. There it is. They must not, right? Like that would be too much, right? If they started stealing my water. I guess it doesn't matter where I put this because I can always move it. Alright, let's do this. What am I gonna do in the winter? So in the winter, all the water freezes, right? And so does the water that you catch in the turtle. Fuck. What am I gonna do? Okay, well, first things first, we need to deal with shelter. And we need to deal with food. So I need that fish trap. I don't think it's this way. I remember there was this question on a test I had to take once as a little girl. I think it was one of those like aptitude tests that I don't know what they do in your country or your province or whatever, but when I was growing up, they would fucking give us these aptitude tests. I think one of them's called like the cat or something like that, and it took like all day. It sucked. And then they would just put it all together and then see like if we were all fucking morons or not. And like one of the questions on them, pretty sure it was one of these, had a question something about, because here's the thing, like intelligence tests, right, some of them have questions on them that I would argue don't have anything to do with the actual machinations of your intelligence, but have to do with whether you have knowledge. So it'll ask you some question that's requesting a fact, right? So this is not the same as like having you, I don't think, figure out a problem and do a calculation and, use, different elements of cognition. But it'll be like, did you just happen to ever know that, I don't know, blueberry pies have blueberries in them? Okay, that maybe could be used to measure your intelligence because you could make that guess, right? But I don't know. In this case, it was one where it was like, if you're lost in, the woods or something. Probably the woods. I know, I'm working on it, dude. He's just gonna keep screaming until I fucking... You know what? Here, just drink the bad water, you shit. Oh no, it's food he wants. I'm a moron. I can solve that. Okay, so does it just hurt me? Like I just take physical damage, but it does restore my hydration? Because that might be worth the trade-off sometimes. Okay, anyway. So the question was, what do you find? What do you do first? Shelter, water, or food? And now, because I remember the, 3 seconds without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, 3 months without security, that thing. I was like, water! It was fucking wrong. I remember finding out that it was wrong later. Not because, like, when they would do those tests, they wouldn't give them back to us. Like, your parents could kind of find out what your result was, but, like, you never got to see it again. But it came up later in something else, and I realized I'd gotten it wrong. Because I had said water, and then I had said shelter. Like, in my mind, they didn't ask me what the next one was. But I had just sort of gone, I guess then I'd find shelter, and then I'd worry about food. Because food is the thing that, out of those three, you can go longest with, right? The answer was supposedly shelter. Because the elements will fuck you up. And I guess that makes sense. Like, now granted, we have not abided by that at all in here. I mean, we do have our tarp. But... yeah, I guess the elements would fuck you up. So, I guess I got that wrong. That wasn't the only fucking question on those intelligence exams that was like that, where it was like, well, how the fuck would I know that? Does it really have to do with whether I'm smart or whether I know stuff? Because there's a difference, right? Like, there's a difference between being... I don't really have the great words for it. Intelligence was not a thing that I really studied too much in school when I did my psych degree. Like, I mean, yeah, I had to learn a little bit about it, but not too much, because I didn't go that route. But, like, you can be smart and be ignorant of a lot of facts, right? And vice versa, you can know a lot of facts and be a fucking moron. Just see Twitter. Dane, you're not that smart. Okay, I understand. We all have our opinions. It's like some of the questions, like, I think even what's the one that is available now if you need to get a quote-unquote IQ test? It's not the original one. Here, anyway, they do the... Fuck, I don't remember what it's called. You can look it up on the government website, because, yeah, I think you can take it in lieu of a high school diploma? Like, but I can't remember what it is. But some of the questions on it are shit in the vein of, like, what is the capital of, I don't know, India? Well, which place in India, Dane? Okay, you know, but like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. Like, I'm not sure that's the same as your intelligence. Now, I do believe, from what I remember in school, arguments about what constitutes intelligence, what constitutes knowledge, and how one would go about psychometrically quantifying that is an ongoing discussion. So, anytime I've had to do them, which I feel like it's strange to say I've actually had to do them a few times, but I have. Different ones. Like, that's why I know there's, you know, like, the original IQ tests and the ones that do, sort of like personality tests, like the Minnesota multiphasic, I think, is the one that, I don't know if this is still the case, but when I was in university, that was always pretty much like the standard for personality testing. And there's like the full version, and then there's sort of like more specialized ones. I had to do that one, the full one. The ones they gave us as kids, those were mostly aptitude tests, I think. But at the same time, does it totally make sense that your school system would test your aptitude versus your knowledge? Because their job... So aptitude or intelligence, right, should pretty much be independent of knowledge, I think. And the school's job, because it's independent, means that they can't do too much to alter it, right? Like, if your intelligence is essentially innate, there's not much they can do about that. But your knowledge, on the other hand, I mean, they can do things to gear it so that you'll be more successful. But, you know, whether you're dealing with a deficiency or averageness or you're gifted or whatever. So why would the school test us on our aptitude when it's just their job to take whatever aptitude is presented to them and fill it with content, especially? I do wonder. Now, when I was a kid, I don't think I could have articulated that. I don't think it is even something that would have been within my mind to consider. But yeah, I wonder. I don't know. I had to do... See, I've had probably more, like, psychometric testing than your average person. Not because I'm special or anything. It's not... No, like, definitely not in a good way. It's just sort of just where I've ended up in doing things. I've had a lot of aptitude testing. A lot of it administered by the state, obviously. I'm not privy to those results. And they don't exist anymore. Like, they destroy them after a certain point. So I couldn't even be like, yo, what did I get when you tested us in, like, 6th grade or whatever. I couldn't find out. I remember them having me come in with my parents. And I can't remember which one. I swear they were called the CAT. But that could just be me getting it mixed up with my knowledge of the fact that the MCAT exists. But I don't remember. The CCAT, does that sound familiar? If you're an Ontario kid that is not currently still in school. Fuck, something like that. And they were like, oh my gosh, Dane actually scored, like, actually really high, blah, blah, blah. And my parents were, like, mad at me. Because they were like, why the fuck are your grades so bad then? they're not fucking wrong. I don't know. I'm just a shit student, Mom and Dad. I get bored and I can't pay attention, and I feel like ADD was around back then, but like diagnostically on the books kind of thing, but not something that was handed out too often. Diagnoses in general were not a thing really when I was a small kid. At least I remember. I feel like now everybody knows what everybody has because they've posted in their bio and their mom put it on Facebook and make sure that your teacher knows and blah blah blah. That wasn't really a thing. It wasn't a fucking thing. Like there was this one kid in my class, and they would in Ontario anyway. What they do in Canada, they put you in your grades according to the year that you were born. So not your age exactly, but the year that you were born. So if you were born in January of, whatever year, you would be in the same class as somebody else who was born in that year, but it was born in September. So you're actually like 12 months ahead of that motherfucker. And I happen to be a second half of the year baby. So I was, just by pure time behind. And when you're a kid, so I argue that when you're a child, 6 months matters, 7 months matters, 3 months matters, like it matters developmentally speaking. And when you put all these kids together, and some of them are born in January, February, March, and you're having them go up against kids born in October, November, December, the October, November, December kids are automatically at a disadvantage because they're like a year younger, right? And I think in some US states, they put you in your grades, correct me if I'm wrong, according to your age, not the year you were born. And that kind of makes sense, I think. But I'm not sure that there's enough there that it accounts for anything, because the government, right? They wouldn't just keep doing it if there was a problem with it. I don't know. But anyway, in our group of kids, our particular model year, knowing what people had was such a rare thing that this one kid in the class in our school who had type 1 diabetes, that was like the weirdest thing, because as far as we knew, the rest of us were all fucking normal, and this one kid was a freak. Because it was so rare at the time for anyone to, you just didn't talk about it. I mean, I'm sure there's kids that had stuff, you just didn't talk about it. But now it seems like, I mean, I don't have kids, but like, I look at kids in my family, who are still currently kids, and I'm just like, why does everybody know what everybody else's medical records say? It's so fucking strange to me. But like, I wonder if it helps. Like, does it help? Like, I don't know, I'm curious. I genuinely wonder about that.